Welcome to the SolidCAM University channel. This video's topic is repeating design modifications. So oftentimes when we're doing a part inside SolidCAM, there might be some changes that you as the machinist, as the programmer, would like to make to the design model to make it more machinable. Or maybe there's just a feature that you find that you are repeatedly adding for other purposes. So today in this video, we'll cover a SolidWorks feature that will help you to do that repeatability. And in this case, what we'll be talking about is an undercut in turning. So if we take a look at my part that I have on screen right now, and just get a cross section of that, there is kind of an undercut, kind of a relief that I've put on the back there, because in the original design, it would have been just a 90-degree corner. If I just bring this back, you can see that it would have been something like that. That's not machinable, so I'm actually just going to add that little bit of a relief there. Now, if I find that I have to do that every single time I get a part from the design team or from the design department, from the engineer, and I find that I'm always adding that to make it more machinable, I could go in and constantly have to sketch that particular sketch and do the sweep and all that, or I can set up what's called a library feature. And a library feature inside SolidWorks is a pretty simple feature to create. All you have to really do is do your feature once, in this case my cut sweep using that particular sketch, and then we'll go over to the design library. And you can see that I've already created it, but I'll create it again here. And all we have to do is say add to library. And then from there, it's going to ask me which items to add. In this case, I just want to add the cut sweep. And that is just that feature. I'm adding the ability to just do a sweep of that particular cross-section. So what I'm actually saving here is the ability to just drag and drop something that's going to cut that on top of whatever I put it on top of. So I'll just click on that, and then it just saves that particular item with the sketch and all the internal references and that sort of thing. I can give it a name. So let's say we just call this one for now test, and then description, it could be whatever I want to describe in there, what this thing does or what it's for, whatever it is. And I can click green check mark. But for the purpose of the video, I'm just going to use the one that I created originally, which was undercut. So that is saved here, and you can see that there's a little symbol next to the feature. That's because it's brought in these guys up here. And this is actually how you can control how this library feature is going to be used. The references here are the plane that I'm going to put it on. So this being a turn feature, I'm going to put it on the center plane. Here it's called front plane only because in this model it's called front plane. But when you bring it into your SolidCAM model and you're adding this to your turn part, this could be your cross section where your tooling plane is on and that sort of thing. But literally all this is just which plane you want to put this feature on. And then in the sketch, I've actually referenced these two faces. And in the sweep, I've referenced that edge. So that's just the references there. And we'll see how we can use those or assign those when we go to actually use this library feature. The rest of this is just all the dimensions found in that sketch. And if you leave them here, these are actually things that you can modify when you drag and drop this library feature. So for instance, if this undercut, the angle that I've used on that undercut should be a little wider. If the placement of this undercut should be a little different relative to that edge. If I leave these dimensions here, then I have the ability to modify them when I go and use the library feature. Otherwise, I can just drag and drop these into internal dimensions, and then they just become hard-coded. The user of the library feature won't be able to modify my sketch for their particular purpose. So here, I'm just going to leave these here. But if you wanted to lock these out from someone who's using the library feature, literally just drag and drop into internal dimensions like I've done there. But I'm actually just going to drag this guy back so we can see all of that pop up. And that's it. All I have to do is click save. You'll see that it saved that library feature. The little symbol is gone from here. This is back to being just a regular SolidWorks model. I'm going to exit out of here, and I'm going to open up a file which does not have that feature. So let's say this is a part that I just got from the design department. If we take a look at it in cross-section, basically has the 90-degree turn. Okay, so now I want to add that feature. So we'll go over to our design tree, undercut. I'll just drag it over. And now it's asking me for my placement plane. like I mentioned before, I'm just going to choose where I'd like that guy to go. The reference plane that I had before was front plane on the original part. Here, I would just choose whichever plane in my feature tree I'd like to place it on. This is actually the same part for the purpose of the video, so it's both the front plane. But that could have been your XZ plane inside SolidCAM as well. Now it's looking for those references. So we definitely need to reference the edge because this is a sweep cut, so I want to do that edge. And then in terms of the face, you can see the little graphic here. In the original model, it was that face there. So in this model, I'll just make it that face there. Now this particular library feature is for that 90-degree turn. But when you go to create these library features, I would say in the sketch, set it up so that you actually can select what you're going to use it for. If you want to make it very variable, then make your sketch in a way that has those sort of variability in there. But in this case, I just made it for a 90-degree. So I'm just going to literally just tell it, okay, that back face, that edge there, I've got those two references. And you can see those dimensions we talked about before. Here they are. So I could actually modify these if I need to. But I'm just going to click the green check mark, and it adds the feature. In the feature tree, it's understood to be a library feature, but I can always go in there and modify those as well. So modifying it in here is the same as modifying it as just another feature in your tree. But this comes from the library, the library feature libraries. So I could have just modified that right from the start. But basically, that is how you can add a repeating feature. This is both for turning parts and milling parts. Basically, this is just a SolidWorks function that you can utilize for any repeating feature that you find that you're constantly adding. Bolt holes, chamfers, pretty much any kind of feature that you find that you're constantly repeating. As long as you can set up your sketching, set up your features with kind of a variability in there, then you can just drag and drop and use it on your parts. Any questions on this or anything else from SolidCAM, just give us a call at 1-866-975-1115, extension 2. You can send us your parts or your questions via the ticket system at solidcamsupport.com, and stay tuned for the rest of the videos on this YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.